Bonjour, everybody. Hi, this is Neshi Lokatz. Welcome to Star Nation's. Let's see if I can try that again. Welcome to Star Nation Organization's main fan page. That's what I get for trying to do two things at one time. We're here this morning with this live stream that we do every morning at 10 a.m. Central, 11 Eastern, for the card draw for the day. And that is a card with energy that shows us what's most important for us to know for today, along with other kinds of divergent conversations that we might have. Every morning, what I do, and I've been doing this for quite some time, is this is one of the things that I was trying to do when I got screwed up the intro, is I was trying to figure out what happened to my comments, and this is like the second time this has happened this week. So Elise, hi Elise, good morning. Could you do me a favor and write a comment into the comment section in the chat room, just so I know if the comments are working. Okay, I'd appreciate that. So what I was saying is that we started this live stream, I think it was the first part of May. And I had been drawing divination cards. I've been doing it for years. But last fall, I had started to use the information from the divination cards to post something to our Instagram account, our business account. And right along at the end of April or so, I thought, gee, maybe those in the Star Nations community would like to hear the backstory to the card draw. And so I started doing a live stream. And we started using, and we're still using, the Sacred Path cards. Whoops, upside down, backwards. Sacred Path cards by Jamie Sams. And then last week, I started adding her second deck, which is called the Medicine cards, to go along with the Sacred Path cards. And the Medicine cards are cards that have all of our animal relatives in there. And so the second card draw is really about what animal relative can help us understand and work with the card drawn for that day, the essence of that card. And so that's what we do every morning, practically. Good. Thank you, Elise. I'm so happy that I can see those comments. I appreciate it. You know, there was one time, I think it was last week, that I couldn't see the comments in the native live stream, which is what this is. And then on Tuesday night, when I was doing my show, Communications from Home, I was using our partners at Be Live TV, an app, and they give us the ability to do kind of cool stuff with our interviews and that sort of thing. And the comments in there weren't working either. And they were, and then they stopped. So, and it is Mercury retrograde, right? And so I was just double checking to make sure the comments were working this morning. Thank you, Elise. I appreciate your assistance, your help. It is a gorgeous day here in Toma, Wisconsin. We're supposed to have a high of like 71. I woke up to, I think it was 50 degrees. I think it was 50 degrees this morning. Kind of chilly, especially when you go from 96 degrees, right? The other day, I think that was Saturday, I think we had, was it 94 degrees, I think it was. Like at 2 degrees is going to make a difference, right? So, no, it's a beautiful, beautiful Wisconsin morning here. We have clear blue skies. There's no humidity. There's a light breeze. The sun's out, and it's just gorgeous morning. So gorgeous. I've got the windows open here. And so you might hear some ambient noise sounds from our neighbors. The kids are outside. Can't blame them. It's gorgeous out. Hey, good morning, Mary. Good morning, Mary Anderson Fry. And good morning to Mary Ann. I'm pretty positive she's going to be watching us too this morning. So good morning, Mary Ann. So this morning, just double checking. Everybody, I got my Star Nations mug this morning. I've been forgetting to use it. I have coffee this morning. It's my first cup. Can you believe it? I'm going to take a drink. Yeah. There is that taste. There's nothing like the first cup of coffee or tea in the morning, isn't there? Yeah. My favorite thing, well, before I got so dang busy, so this almost feels like another lifetime ago, we would sit out on the porch with the first cup of coffee, and just be with the morning, I think Minnie Kansman, which, by the way, Minnie Kansman, happy birthday. I think, let's see, how am I going to do this? Elise, are you friends with Minnie Kansman? Let's see if I can do this. I've got my phone. I was just going to send her a message reminding her about the show this morning. And let's see. Thank you for hanging in with me. I just want to send this to Minnie real quick because it is her birthday this morning. And so there she is. Go to Minnie. Oops. There. Sometimes. Oh, Elise, good. Thank you. It takes me a while to do this because the screen is so small and I'm typing anything. Could you share this live stream with Minnie and just tell her happy birthday, okay? And let her know that we're talking about her. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate that, Elise. So it kind of reminds me of what Minnie does with her Shinrin, the forest bathing. It's called a sit spot, right? And when you really think about it, we've all done that many times, doing a sit spot, where we just take some time just to sit and watch nature, to be outside when it's quiet, and you can hear the birds singing, you can feel the breeze, or you can feel that early morning sun, or the late evening sun when we watch a sunset or something like that. And so that first cup of coffee or tea always reminds me of that. And one day soon, my life will be calmer again, and I will be able to fit that into my into my morning regime, what I used to do. Not that I want to go back in time, no, but there's certain things that I forget about that I used to do and I kind of miss, like the sit spot. And the other thing, sleeping in. What's that? When I lived in Poynette, and I went from full-time to part-time working for the state of Wisconsin. So those mornings where I didn't have to drive in to Madison, and I would sleep in until 8 o'clock or so, 7:30. For me, that was late. And I remember because our neighborhood was so quiet, and I thought, gee, nobody even really knows I'm here. It's kind of relaxing. And then the phone would ring. It's like, pop the illusion, right? Pop the illusion. So this morning with the card draw, I was sitting out in the Four Seasons and doing the card draw because it was so pretty, so nice out. And this is the card that came. The South Shield. It's about innocence and the inner child. And see, let's see, that is actually, that's not a wolf, that's a coyote. And the color around the ring there is red, the color of the South, for the medicine wheel that Jamie Sams believes in. Yeah, I get the camera to focus. If I bring it too close, it's out of focus. Ha. All right. So, and the artwork with these cards, there's a theme. They include the colors of the medicine wheel in the Seneca tradition. Jamie Sams comes from the Seneca tradition, and the Seneca are from the Northeast and Northeast from Wisconsin anyway. East of Wisconsin. The Seneca are part of the Iroquois Nation, also known in their language as the Haudenosaunee. And if there is a a tribal member from the Iroquois Nation, one of the confederated tribes. If you could sometimes let me know, am I pronouncing that correctly? Haudenosaunee. Yay! Thank you, Elise. I appreciate that. Because today is Minnie Kansman's birthday. And Minnie Kansman is one of my sisters. We started a group, let's see, in 2006. No, I moved here in 6, so it must have been 2007. Two of my friends called me. They were reading this book by Grenville Melchizedek, Serpent of the Light. And they didn't know that each of them were reading it. And they contacted me asking me if I had heard of the book and if I had read it. And I had. I had finished it that past February. And see, Grenville was one of my teachers, right? And so, yeah, I read it. And so they were asking me some questions. They wanted to ask me some questions. And I just said, sure, but it'd be a lot easier if maybe we could get on a conference call, because that way I'm not answering possibly the same question twice, right? And so we did that, but we invited a couple other people. So that was Christine Pollock and Donna Thompson that contacted me. And then so we formed this small group, and it was almost like a book club at first, because we had all was going to read The Serpent of the Light. And so Minnie was there, and Sharon Rosenblum, and Teresa Girardi. Those are my sisters. And we have been meeting once a month, at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. We started with conference calls. That was before everybody bought into Skype. I was the only one on Skype at the time. And so then I talked them into getting Skype, and then we started using Skype, and then we went to Google Hangout for a while, and now we're back to Skype. And so, yeah, we meet. And so we're there to support each other, and through the good times and bad times, right? When you're having challenges or when we're celebrating. And so these women mean a lot to me. And so it's Minnie's birthday. So happy birthday, Minnie, my sister Minnie. Here's the card for today, South Shield. We had this card back in May, early May, and I was looking at my notes after reading Jamie Sam's information. And one of the things that jumped out at me when she was writing about the South Shield is that, and the innocence of the child, is that as adults, we tend to forget to play. We don't take the time to play. And I admit I am just as guilty of that. When you grow up here in I don't know if that happens in other places, but in the Midwest, upper Midwest to be specific, we have this work ethic that if you're not producing something, then you're lazy, if you don't have your day productive, you've lost a day. And so, and I grew up with a family that we worked from the time we were little until, still working. When I was I think it was in my 40s, my early 40s, I took some time off I took a leave of absence from my state job. And because Paul was going to be doing his advanced officers training down in Oklahoma at Lawton, Fort Sill. And so I took a leave of absence, and I was working on reading and getting things caught up, and I was walking every morning, and I was going through one of those times. It's like, what's my life's purpose? What am I doing here? Out of all these years, I still feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And as I'm walking around the track, I realized that most people retire after 25 years, 20 years. Some people 30 years. But after 20 years, a lot of people retire, right? And so literally, I started working when I was 5. I was dancing, Native American dancing in the summer. It was only a couple of months, but still, I got a paycheck. um, and so, and then dancing at Stand Rock, and when you grow up in the Dells, Wisconsin Dells is a tourist place, and so everybody works 2 jobs. Everybody practically does. They have their daytime and they have their nighttime job. And so did I. And from the time I was 13. And I was walking around that track when I was 40, and I'm going, what the heck? And I realized most people would be getting prepared to retire, starting the next book of their life, the next, experience as somebody who isn't working for someone else per se. So I was feeling like that. And so what did I do? I played while we were down in Oklahoma. Paul was so concerned I was going to be bored. And I said, hey, if I'm bored, it's my own damn fault. Really, I'm a grown woman. I can take care of that. And so I volunteered at a museum on post, and I got to help unpack and clean artifacts, Native American artifacts. And so as an empath, as somebody who senses energy, some of those pieces were, oh my God. And so here I am using my gifts in a different way than I ever thought I would. Here I am surrounded by artifacts that, maybe came to them, maybe not in the best way. And so I'm doing clearings, and I'm thanking them and hearing stories from days gone by about how somebody used their war club, or how their ghost shirt was first made for them, that kind of stuff, And so I was playing, but here all of this information was right there in front of me. And to the point the press came in, and they were taking some pictures of a recent acquisition, and they put the title under my picture, curator. It's like, I was a volunteer. I shouldn't even been standing where I was standing. I just happened to be bringing in a piece that they had asked for, and I said, oh, I'll go get it. So I was fetching something for them, for the curator. It's kind of funny. But, the playtime helped me to relax. And that's what the South Shield is all about, is allowing your inner child out to play. And in that innocence of the play is we're able to hear our guidance much easier. When we're being creative, that's what it's about. When we're being creative and using our gifts when we're playing. Half the time we don't even realize we're using our gifts when we're playing. Right? Hey, Polly Joe's in the house. Good morning, Polly Joe. And Cindy, good morning. I'm so glad to see you guys here with me. Thank you so much for being here. This is the card that was drawn this morning that Spirit gave us, the South Shield. It's about the innocence and inner child. And that is not a wolf or a dog. That is a coyote. And with Jamie Sams, the coyote is in energy is in the south, in the medicine wheel that she lives by. So, so Jamie Sams talks about the child. She says the South Shield is the shield of the child within, as well as the place where physical life begins. Talking about the red color of the South, and that is about the red road. In her tradition, they call it the Good Red Road. And I really do believe that has something to do with the native tribes, nations east of the Mississippi, because that's how I grew up hearing it, the Good Red Road. For those out west of the Mississippi, I hear it as the Red Road. Okay. I know it's just a slight difference, but I think that there's a nuance there. Cindy is saying, happy to be here. I want to come up to visit soon. I'm headed to Grand Rapids on the 20th from Cedarburg. Really? Cedarburg, Wisconsin. Well, Cindy, you know I live in Toma, Wisconsin. Yeah. A lot of our friends and those who support Star Nations through the magazine and the live stream shows and the classes, a lot of people come from Michigan. Why is that? There's a couple of reasons. One is I taught quite a bit in Michigan, drum making, and I used to be there 2 or 3 times a year for 4 to 7 days at a time. And my old business partner is from Michigan. She's no longer with Star Nations, but there's still this very strong energy of Michigan here in Star Nations, which we love. So, yeah. I'm in Toma. I can't remember where Cedarburg is. Where is that near? Because I don't know how long Golden Tapestry. Oh, yeah, that's true. I wonder how far away Cedarburg is from here. So let's see. Jamie says that fears can destroy the sparkling synchronicity of our internal timing and lay waste to the perfection of our beautiful uniqueness. Okay. So as children, we don't have a whole lot of fears. We're taught to be afraid about certain things. So, as we grow older, we have more fears because it comes from the outside, not usually from the inside. Not from the inside. And so we have to, a lot of those fears we have to find the root to. And when we find the root to, a lot of times it will lead toward our childhood, something that occurred in the childhood. And so, and so Jamie is saying, is that it can our fears are a barrier to the synchronicity. And the synchronicity is coming from our spiritual team, our guides, our teachers, our angels, our power animals, our totems. And so when we don't heal those, when we don't face those fears, heal what needs to be healed around it, we have this layer that is an interference, right? When we play and we're using it through creativity, many times those barriers, that interference drops away for a while, and we relax. And the guidance, we can sense it better. We can sense it, hear it, feel it, see it. When we're many times in the play, in that creative mode. Because, do you remember when you were a kid and you were playing? Let's say you're playing outside. How many times did you pretend in a game? I grew up with 4 brothers, so it wasn't like we would play with dolls. None of them did. But we would go outside and we would play down in our driveway. The bottom part of our driveway when I was a kid was sand. And so we would go down there and we would make roads and little villages. And sometimes we'd take water down with us and do sand castles and that kind of thing. And so our imagination was really, really engaged. And so when we're like that, we're much more relaxed, right? Yeah, much more relaxed. All right. And Elisa's saying, for me, cheese curds. Oh my God. Wisconsin, that's one of the things we're most well known for. One of the many, many things is cheese curds. And on the train, going to be kind of hard for you to get cheese curds. But while you're here in Toma, we'll do a stop at the cheese house for you and get some cheese curds. Cindy is saying she's from, north of Milwaukee, 20 miles. Okay. So Milwaukee from here is a good 2.5. Let's see, it takes me an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes to get to Madison. And then from Madison to Milwaukee is what, 45 minutes? So maybe 3-hour drive from here to here. It's all interstate driving as long as you can get to the interstate, because Toma is right where the interstate divides. 9094. One goes north and one goes to the west. Yeah. Yeah. Mary's saying always. I know. And so what Jamie Sams is saying is that we need to play. We need to nurture our inner child, to give so I was going to say time, but that's not really what I'm after here. Our attention, a focus to our inner child, and they're into an innocence that we still have that never left. It might be buried under a lot of stuff. I was going to say something else. Could be buried under a lot of stuff, but it's still there. And so the more we take the responsibility to heal and to face our opponents, that counting coup thing, to face our opponents, which are our shadow sides, our shadow aspects, we uncover to reveal and feel that innocence within ourselves that's still there. Our child, our inner child, is being nurtured then, right? And I do know that there's a lot of good work from a lot of good people around the inner child energies. One who springs to mind is Terry Ruel. Now she's from Michigan. She's a therapist, and I think she's like got a limited client base now, moving toward retirement. But we also have a couple other people in the Michigan area, and that is Nicole Fix. Nicole Fix started her own therapy office, Eastern Door, I think it's called, and it is in Grand Rapids. Also there's Patty Heredia. She does a lot of body work, energy work, and she can help you with that inner child aspect as well. A lot of good people doing a lot of good work to help us to get the debris off of our inner child, and so that we can feel that innocence again, right? Yeah. Cindy's saying, I love my Nicole. I do too. Nicole Fix also writes for us. Actually, both her and Patty are contributing writers for the Star Nations magazine under the health and healing section. Nicole writes about mental health, and Patty writes from the title of her column is the Therapy Corner. I think that's what it is. And so, yes, both ladies write for us. Cindy's saying good recommendations. Love them both. Yeah, we do too. So, so there's the aspect of that inner child. And so one of the things I learned through my formal education, which my education, college education, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology with a human service emphasis, right? My master's is in business and business organization and management. One of the things that occurs in our formal education is that we take ourselves the either psychology or philosophy point of view, and we kind of separate things out so that we can take a look at them. And when we do that, we're really studying ourselves, right? 360 degrees in depth. So we come away from that with many generations referring to ourselves in bits and pieces, in fractions. So we have our inner child, our lower self. We have our ego, or conscious self. We have our a higher self and our soul self, right? And the id, ego, and that's Freudian. I had a thing about Freud that I didn't really like much. I memorized his stuff and did the test and then purged it. But anyway, we look at ourselves in these separateness and refer to ourselves that way. And many years ago, from my spiritual team, I was dealing with the worthiness thing, and when I first got my medicine dress into the physical world, and it took me a while to wear it. I really didn't. I was so concerned about my ego distorting this gift, right? And so I was hyper vigilant about it. And my spiritual team was explaining to me that I had chosen the path that I chose educationally so that I would learn about those intricacies, and more importantly, to learn how to bring it together. Literally to pull ourselves together. That is much more important, because in the healing and bringing the aspects of yourself back together to the whole, there is a deep level of healing and understanding and knowing yourself in its fullness. Okay, does that make sense? And that can be a harder path to take, because you have to literally understand how to nurture yourself, to nurture your innocence, and also to give your ego parameters, boundaries. That your ego is not in charge. Your soul is in charge. And so it's learning how to be whole and to refer to yourself in that wholeness and not in the bits and pieces. It's an aspect, yes, of understanding, but it's more important to remember how you feel to be whole. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Let's see. Rochelle's in the house. Good morning, Rochelle. Good morning to you, Rochelle. I'm so glad to see you in the house. Are you feeling better? Yes. I know that you had some company and you got to do some playtime. I saw that on Facebook late one night. So this is the card that we got this morning, the South Shield, and it's about the innocence and the inner child. She also states that with the inner child is that we should pay attention and nurture our physical body, because this is the vehicle that we chose to be in this lifetime, and to pay attention to it. It is also our communication device in some aspects. When we are, hey, Jackie's with us too. Oh my gosh. Good morning, Jackie. Jackie, I saw Jackie's name and I lost my concentration. Okay. So, we have the ability to recognize what's in our body and how our body is reacting to something, right? So let's say that your phone's ringing, and on your phone it shows who that is calling you, and you can feel your energy kind of take a little bit of a dive, and you can feel the nervousness in your stomach and your gut. Yeah, pay attention to that. You have to ask yourself, why do I feel that way? Or your body's telling you something that you may have ignored or chose not to acknowledge some other way, like, an intuitive hit, we call that. Sometimes it really is a hit, isn't it? And so our body is able to help us. When we take care of our body, we can play easier. So even if it's in the tiniest piece of nobody, don't expect me to be a marathon runner. I don't do long distance running well. Sprinting, yes, but not long distance. And that sprinting was years and years and years ago. But I think that even if we do the stretching and getting connected to our body so we can ground to the earth plane, that's important. Polly Joe could probably say a heck of a lot more about that with the chakras. But when we're in our physical body, we're present. We're in the moment. And I think that's one of the reasons why when we're playing and we're being creative, time, the measurement of time doesn't matter anymore. Have you ever done that? Started a project of some sort, and it's using your creative juices, and you can look at the time and it's 10 o'clock, and the next time you look at it, it's like 2 o'clock. What happened to those 4 hours? Right? And so when you have a healthier body, you can enjoy that playtime a heck of a lot more. And we're just talking about little steps here. We're not talking about go out and hire a private, trainer of some sort. You can if you want to. But what I'm talking about is something that to look at what your day is like, and how can you. I should be walking up here in the morning, but I bring my car up because a lot of times I'm bringing things with me, right? Or taking things back. That would be a small step in taking care of my physical body. It's just to walk up here and walk back. It's only a block, right? It's only a block. So Rochelle is saying, yes, feel great, going to be positive about my health. Yay, yes. Mary is saying yoga. Yeah, really. Or Tai Chi even, Rochelle saying, I love to play. I do too. I do. And Elisa saying, yeah, yoga is great, but I love Tai Chi. I like them both. Two different cultures, two different belief systems, two different ways of moving energy through your body. I love yoga because it helps me to stretch and to be more limber, more fluid, right? My muscles. Tai Chi, I love Tai Chi because of how you learn how to feel the energy flowing through your body. And I remember the first time I took a Tai Chi here in Toma, from one of my students actually, and she says afterwards, she goes, "Did you feel like you'd done that before? Have you done that before?" I said, "No." And she goes, "Yeah, but you," and I said, "I know." I could feel it. I could feel like, some parallel or past life energy that where I would use Tai Chi, that remembrance came back, and so I like both of them. I do. Yeah. So let's see what else Jamie Sam sends about this is When she's talking about the body, she says, trust yourself to walk in balance. The skill of knowing what your body can do, what's its needs. The skill of knowing your body can, I can't read this morning either. The skill of knowing what your body can do, what's its needs, and how to give it the freedom of its own expression in the second path to knowing your inner child is what she's talking about, is having faith in yourself. Having faith in yourself. So for me, that goes back to going back to feeling the wholeness, the whole being, and not in the bits and pieces, is that innocence, that inner, that we still have, right? And when we take care of our body, when we have faith in ourselves. She says that you must see the value of trust. So trusting how our body feels and what it's telling us. She says that balancing the body is key to observing the truth in all things. And when I read that reminded me of a long time ago when I learned how to dowse. Is that sometimes you don't have your pendulum with you. And really the pendulum is a tool that bridges how you receive information and how you feel in your body, right? It gives you the yes and no. It doesn't give you subjective information. It's just yes or no, maybe, and maybe. So one of the things I learned early on in my divination skills is how to use your body. It's called kinesiology, right? And a lot of people do the muscle test thing with the pinky, right? If you can break the bond between the thumb and the pinky, whether it's a truth or false. But there's another way. And basically it's asking the question, and you're still asking yes and no, but you're feeling it in your body. And with a yes, when you're standing as straight as you can, you'll feel your body move, your hips move forward. If it's a no, you'll feel your hips moving backward. Now, it's not a huge movement. It's a slight movement. And if you're not paying attention to it, you're not going to notice it. All right. We're going to talk about that more in the magic of Hogwarts when we're going to be doing the divination part in the class in September here. And so when you're in your body, your body is part of the communication, right? Yeah. Looking at the time, we got to cover one more thing. And so here we go. This is the application. Jamie Sams is saying, the card marks a time of returning to the childlike parts of self that need no support from the ego. Look at how you can be humble in the present situation. Look at how to balance work with play and sacredness with irreverence. In other words, you'll need to lighten up and drop the tight parts. She actually wrote that. She's also saying, stop holding on so tight and remember how to trust. The Self Shield card insists that the child within is trying to teach you something about how to handle the situation. Listening and trusting the little tyke might restore some of the lost magic of life. Remember, playfulness heals a world of woes. The Self Shield. Yep, nurturing that inner child. And, and I have to say, that was the card that came out first, and I was putting the cards away, and this card dropped out. coral, and it's about nurturing. And so it's a way that Spirit is telling us is that this message is really about how to nurture that part of us that's still there. The innocence is still there within us. We never lost it. Nobody took it. It's still there. We just have to pay attention to how to heal and to remove the barriers, the interference to that. And I can tell you, there's a good way to do that, because we offer something here at Star Nations that I don't know if, I honestly don't know, because I haven't looked, where else that could be offered. But I do know that through Polly Joe's 2 shows, the Chakra Sessions and also Soul Connections. Chakra Sessions on Tuesday at noon Eastern, and Soul Connections Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. Is a good step in that direction. Yeah. And oh, Connie's here. Hello, Connie. I'm so glad you're here with us. Yeah. Okay, so then I asked, we should read the poem for the South Shield before I move on to that one. So here's the poem, Jamie Sam's poem, The South Shield. Red earth, South Shield, child filled with wonder, teach me to yield. Laughter is your giveaway in innocence and joy, tricking me into the place of little girls and boys. That's the coyote medicine. I like that. But when I asked what animal relative could best help us understand with more clarity the essence of the South Shield card, this is who showed up. The Black Panther. I love the artwork on these cards. The Black Panther is about embracing the unknown. So she writes that the Black Panther medicine allows human beings to face their fears and dark behaviors, exploring those internal shadowy aspects of self. So the South Shield card, she talked about how fear can be a block or an interference to remembering and sensing and being with our innocence, right? And so the Black Panther medicine can help us to face that, those fears, the unknown. She goes on to say, the darkness is a place for seeking and finding answers, for accepting healings, and for accessing the hidden light of truth. Black Panther teaches us through our dreams to delve into the places within ourselves that need healing. She shows us how to track the unfamiliar territory found on the journey of self-discovery and to fearlessly face the unknown. So when we're counting coup on our opponents, those shadow aspects of us, Black Panther can help us with that. Help us to identify it and to face it. It also says that it may be telling you not to worry about the future. Trust that you are not supposed to be mentally figure it out. You need to confront fears of the unknown, of being less than who you truly are, or to simply be. Embrace the unknown and flow with the mystery that is unfolding in your life. In the stillness of the void, find the will to avoid foolish interruptions, going deeper into your own self-discovery and healing process. Discover Black Panther's unexpected blessings. So, if you're turning your attention to, okay, what is the block? What is the interference to feeling my innocence, allowing my creativity to flow, how to play, Black Panther can help us to identify that. And then you can move into the healing part of it, healing piece. She also says that be free of mental presuppositions and expectations. To let go of negative people, enter the stillness and refuse to surrender. Okay, I'm going to read that again. Enter the stillness and refuse to surrender your personal authority to avoid machinations, justifications, and mental gymnastics. In other words, justifications, how to justify something. I didn't walk up here because I had to bring stuff up, so I had to bring my car. That's a justification to use my car and not have to walk. Yep. It's also known as an excuse. So basically, it's about facing the shadow aspects and identifying what needs to be healed, doing the healing. That's our responsibility, to do our own healing. And so when we remove enough of the interference, enough layers of stuff that's covering up our innocence, we're going to be able to feel it. And when we're using our gifts and creatively, we're going to be able to hear our spiritual team so much easier. So much easier. And if I remember right, both Julie Hedges and Polly Joe and Connie and the Franklins, they've all done shows on this. Some aspect of it. So it's more than just in the air. Those are our nudges, right? When something starts happening in multiples. So, see how this unfolds for you today. The information that Spirit brought to us through those cards, how it unfolds for you, because the intention is to show us the energy that is most important for us to know today. And it's about uncovering our innocence, to play, to use our gifts in a creative way. Yeah. So as the energy comes to you, flows around you, notice it, and see how it unfolds. And notice, are you a participant in that unfolding of it? Or are you a witness? Either way, you're learning something from the energy that is coming to you. And as usual, just take what felt good to you, what resonated with you. And if it didn't resonate with you, some part of it, that's okay. Just let it go. Wasn't meant for you. No problem. And just take what felt good, what resonated. Yeah. On Tuesday, that's coming up next week, I decided to do a show about our gifts. And so on Communications from Home, we're going to be talking about our gifts and identifying them, how to use them, why aren't we not using them, that kind of stuff. In conjunction with, we're going to be publishing the July issues for Star Nation magazine. And so I'll be talking about the magazine as well, using it as an example of how we use our gifts. And Thursday is the mini class, the free mini class at the closed group for Star Nations Academy. We're going to be talking about our power animals and the retrieval of them, using them, being with them, certain power animals that are brought to us. Yeah, it's going to be all about how they help us on our medicine path, is what we're going to be talking about on Thursday. And that's at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, it's a closed group. If you're a member, please join us. If you're not a member, it's okay. Just ask to be invited to be joined so you can join the academy, and we'll get that done for you. Okay. So have a good rest of the Friday. I forgot to say TGIF because to me it doesn't feel like Friday. Does it feel like Friday to you? It doesn't feel like Friday to me. Lisa's saying love and hugs to you and your mom. Thank you. And yeah, it's yeah, mom is all about baseball lately. Last couple of days. The Brewers are doing well, I guess. That's our team. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's card draw. And so, Bama Mina, until we see each other again.